Welcome to my channel, TAS TV, where I talk about government contracting, small business development, and personal and professional development. I am your host, Troy A. Small. Hey, if you find a video on my channel that's helpful, go ahead and smash the like button and subscribe to the channel. Today, we're talking about what is government contracting. The topic of the video, what is government contracting? Make sure you listen to the end so you can pick up the full context of this message. So, government contracting is the process of buying and selling on the open or commercial market by a government entity, and they're buying from corporate entities such as LLCs, S Corps, C Corps, limited liability partnerships, LLPs, and even sole proprietorships. The government entities that buy are at the state, local, and federal level. So some examples, for instance, at your local level, your school boards, they have procurement departments. Your airport authorities, they have procurement departments that buy, that purchase, that procure, that contract. Also your counties and your municipalities, as an example. So I'm here in Riverside County, out here in Cali on the West Coast, and I frequently pay attention to Riverside County contracts. As a matter of fact, I recently won a contract, my company personally, with Riverside County, and so I definitely pay attention to them, and I have a client who we won a contract through the county with as well. Also, when you start talking about municipalities, your different types of cities, the city of, right, or other types of counties throughout the country, they all procure and contract and buy just like the federal government does. So you also have procurements at the state level as well. So not only, I'm using California still in this example, not only does the county of Riverside procure, not only does the county of like San Diego County procure, but California as a state procures as well. It has its own procurement department and departments, and they buy. So these are examples of entities that, government entities that, that buy. Even the university systems, they have procurement as well. At the federal level, of course, in order to contract with the federal government, you would register in sam.gov, and you can procure with civilian agencies through like GSA and Department of Interior or things like that, those things that come to mind, and even our DOD, Department of Defense, all of the military branches and all of the other defense agencies as well. And so in order to do business with the federal government, of course, you would register in SAM. That process is fairly straightforward. Now, it's a little bit different when you start talking about doing business with the states or with municipalities or with these pseudo government entities like school boards or airport authorities, because at the state level on down, they all generally use a different type of procurement site. I mean, some of them may use the same site, but you would have to know that. You would have to go out and figure out, where does the state of California do their procurements, as an example? Where does the state of Florida do their procurements, right? Or if it's a particular county in a state, where does this county post their public opportunities for industry and small business and large business to see, so that we all can determine if we want to bid on these projects or not, right? Now, the types of entities that sell to the government can be anything. What I mean by that is that there is no one particular type of company that the government sells to. I mean, if you have products or services you can sell. I mean, it's just really what really determines if you can sell it or not, and or if you'll be successful, is if there's a market for what you sell. Now, to get an idea of the types of products and services that the government procures or contracts for, you can check out the product and service code listing. See, these are PSC codes. So the PSC codes are a great example of the varying and the myriad types of items and services that all government agencies buy. The PSC code listing is based on federal government, but as we all know, basically the federal government is a macro for state government, which is a macro for municipal government on down, right? You just have smaller versions of their bigger organizations and vice versa, right? And so because of that, you can rest assured that if the federal government's buying it, there's a good chance that most of the same items and services are going to be procured at the state and the municipal and the local levels. So once again, that's the PSC code listing. This is a very good listing, especially if you're starting off and if you're a wannabe business owner, or you are a business owner, or you're just getting going, like you're a business owner, but you're going through the formal process. This is a great way to start trying to figure out, well, what are some of the things that I can do? What can I do as an individual company? And then also maybe who do I know that potentially could do some of the stuff on this list? Who do I know that I could partner with who has the expertise or the capability or the ability to do the solution that the government is looking for? Maybe they have the solution and the technical piece down pat, and you and your company, or you and yourself, you're like, I'm the brains of this group. I'm very good at organizing and making sure that everyone executes to task on time and all of that, right? And then when you combine the two, you and that other individual are a force to be reckoned with in business, right? In the sense that you're able to pursue your opportunities with a high likelihood of success. And that's what we're trying to do here, because success is not guaranteed. So you always have to remember that there's no guarantee that you'll win a contract or that you'll do anything, right? Even if you have all the certs and everything is lined up, you still have to execute. And so that's one of the key things to keep in mind. Now, the PSC code listing, once again, this identifies pretty much everything that the government would buy or has bought in the past. So when you're determining, what you're going to be as a business, or if you're trying to pivot, or if you're adding services, or you're just kind of still you're open to, consider that listing. Another thing that I want to cover is when you are determining the type of entity to use for your government contracting business, make sure that you consider your personal risk in the event that something goes wrong. And what I mean by that is that this has to do with, whether you're a corporate entity or whether you're doing business in your individual capacity and things like that. Now, I'm not giving you legal advice or anything formal like that, but I am recommending that you really take a good look at how you're going to form yourself. If you're going to be an LLC or an S Corp or a C Corp, or if you have partners and you guys are going to be an LLP or things like that, even down to a sole proprietorship, because that has its challenges in the sense of risks personally to the individual. However, I'm sure some folks out there could probably come in the comments and say, hey, I'm actually a sole proprietorship and I've done it this way in my federal contracting space because it works for me like this. And if that's the case, then that's case specific, and that's great. And if that is the case, I'd love to hear about it in the comments. Go ahead and comment below if you have a situation like that, and let's have some dialogue about that. So there we go. Now, the other thing that I did want to cover before I end here is that the government buys and procures based on a need. So remember, we're talking about what is government contracting here. So we've already established that is the government buying and selling in the commercial market, basically, right? There are some exceptions, but at the basic, that's what it is. Now, and we've determined who the government is, and we've kind of talked about who industry is, or did we, right? Industry is S Corp, C Corps, and all of that, just formal business entities out in the commercial marketplace. Now we're kind of talking about why does the government even go through this process? Well, they do this because they have a need. The contracting officers and the acquisition team, they have customers within their government space, government within the government organization. They have a client base, or they have stakeholders that they are supporting. And these customers and stakeholders have a need, or they have a requirement that they need to be fulfilled, that cannot be fulfilled within the government system. It cannot be fulfilled in the government supply system. It cannot be fulfilled through another government organization. And therefore, the next step in the federal supply process is when it cannot be fulfilled internally within the federal organization or the government in general. The next step is then to seek that item or that service in the open market, right? This is another reason why we say that small business is the the backbone of the country, right? We are what make it go, because these little small services are really significant when if you take them away. As an example, the past couple of years, right? I'm sure we can point to a lot of examples of how it showed that, wow, we really need small business, not just the small business, but even the micro businesses. And that's why I'm here talking about what I'm talking about, the importance of small business getting involved in government contracting. And today we talked about what is government contracting. So once again, they're buying for their customers that have a need. So keep in mind that really, well, sometimes the government doesn't even know they have a need. Like, the organization may not know they have a need. So this is where a very creative businesswoman or businessman steps in to say, hey, I've been watching your organization. I am a supporter here. I am an industry partner, and I have a solution for a challenge that you may not know you have, right? And here's the solution. The solution is this, and of course it includes my expertise to help you see it through. That's kind of how you start the conversation, in the sense, and you get them to understand that, hey, there's a problem here, and then you're starting to shape an opportunity for yourself. Now, it doesn't mean you're going to get it automatically, but you are shaping it for yourself, meaning that at the very least, the resulting solicitation should have information that's favorable to you. Why? Because you helped shaped it. You're the one who brought the solution to the table, or the problem, saying, hey, you have this problem. And they say, yeah, you know what? We do have that problem. How do we fix it? Well, we go out and contract for it. And now that's how that process kind of starts, right? I'll do another video at some point to kind of follow on that, but that's kind of how the shaping piece starts, is because you're bringing awareness to that government client. And that's probably similar, not any more different than we do in the commercial space. When someone, comes to your door and they start asking you about your vents or something, like, they start showing you pictures of how much, and if you haven't done it, as a matter of fact, here's a public service announcement. This is a real deal. If you have not cleaned your vents in your bathroom, please do that. Take it down. You can use your vacuum and suck it out, but you want to do that, because I did it about a year ago, and oh my goodness, it was about a few years backed up, and I told myself I need to do that annually. Like, the same time when I changed the fire alarm batteries needs to be the same time that I clean out those vents. All right, Troy Small here with Taz TV. So in conclusion, today we talked about, government contracting is a process of buying and selling between government and corporate entities. Government contracting is based on process and procedures. So remember that. It's about 80% process and red tape and 20% relationship. So you have to make sure you have a thorough understanding of the 80% that is process and procedure. And if you're unfamiliar with that, you can, tap into the the 80/20 principle. There's a lot of, there's a lot of information out there on it where you can look it up. There's a specific principle out there regarding that. But in this case, know that whatever you're going to be doing in this contracting space, 80% of it is procedure. It's like you can go to the book and be like, oh, this is the way it's supposed to be done. And you can start going by those steps. The relationship piece comes in where, obviously there's obviously the normal relationship stuff, but a lot of it may be in regards to the procedure. So if you can get a good vibe on the procedure, you can open up dialogue for yourself with the government based on that procedure. You can start developing a relationship based on that, if that makes any sense. All right. Might be, a little bit over someone's head, and someone else may be saying, ooh, that's spot on information. So let me know in the comments. All right. Troy Small with Taz TV. Hey, if you have any additional questions or need help with a specific issue, you can schedule a free discovery call with me. Go ahead and check the link in the bio, and I'll see you on the next video.